November 8th, 2021. Halfcast 180. Episode 180. Let's go. Happy Monday, you guys. Of course, I have a few things to share with you. An evening of reflection. Shall we? New York lawmaker accused of trading drugs for sex slapped with more felony charges. First, the lawmaker who was substituting as an art teacher got frustrated with a child and kicked him in the groin repeatedly. This was a lawmaker. Then we had not too long ago the lawmaker that used revenge porn to get back at an ex. That was a lawmaker. A lawmaker that got caught with a DUI and used the governor's name to try and told the cops to use the governor to, yeah, that's my boy. That's my buddy. Yeah, call him or call her up and, yeah, let me get out of this jam. So the extracurricular activities that these lawmakers are getting, I thought they were just supposed to make laws. These are the people who are running our country, who are driving our country. The New York lawmaker who made headlines last year for allegedly trading opioids for sex was arraigned on Monday. Why not Bitcoin? You know, you can trade Bitcoin for sex. It looks better. It might still be illegal, but at least it looks better. Trading opioids for sex was arraigned on Monday for a 9-count indictment. 7 other charges being felonies. Dr. William Doc Spencer, a legislator for Suffolk County. This is the problem. You don't have any full-time lawmakers. Are you not paying them enough to work full-time? What is this? I don't know how this works. A legislator for Suffolk County's 18th district and physician stepped down from his position as majority leader of the legislature's Democratic caucus last fall following his arrest as a result of a sting operation that stemmed from a previous major drug investigation on Long Island. So you didn't even know this shit was coming down. They just caught you like with your dick in your hand, literally. The indictment handed down Monday charges Spencer with 9 counts, 7 of which are felonies partially linked to his October 20th arrest, where he's accused of trying to swap drugs for sex. New charges relate to allegedly hiring a sex worker in November 2019 and lying about the incident to authorities. Spencer of Centerport was charged last fall with criminal possession of a controlled substance in a 3rd degree and criminal sale of a controlled substance in the 3rd degree. So you were selling the drugs too. You're making these same laws. You're making laws against drugs, and then you're going home and selling drugs off the clock. we can add a legislator, we can add a physician, and a drug dealer to his resume. According to the prosecutors at the time, Spencer sent a text to a woman who he believed to be a sex worker and who he thought was meeting up to swap oxycodone pills for sex. Authorities believe the woman to be a sex worker, and she was recruited to help them with the sting. Authorities found him in his state vehicle. You're using the company car? You're using the company car? Parked behind a strip mall in Elwood, according to officials. Inside the car was lubricant, condoms, and a loaded pistol for which he has a permit. Yeah, come on. Obviously, it's extremely disturbing for an individual to be engaging in this type of behavior who is a sitting county legislator as well as a medical doctor / drug dealer. Let's say you got to add drug dealer to the resume. Someone who has spoken about drug prevention and substance abuse disorders. Obviously, that is very troubling. Suffolk District Attorney Timothy Sunai said outside the court. Wow. If you like the show, subscribe and comment. Let me know you're rocking with your boy. 3 employers who hike worker pay said they're not suffering from staff shortages. One said she was actually a little bit overstaffed after boosting starting wages to $14 an hour. you see how that works when you hire people, when you pay people, when you make people actually want to work there. You don't have a problem with employees. You're not crying to these agencies, to unemployment, saying nobody wants to work. You're if you build it, they will come. When you have that type of mentality, now who these people, and this is just speculation, but these people who are a little bit overstaffed, now you can get more done. If this is your own business, if this is your own personal business, you can get that project that you will add on, that extra facet that will take your project over the edge. You have the manpower to do that, and you have a team that also doesn't have a problem in working. They're not coming in complaining because the pay is okay. Why? What is this? Do I have to? I don't know anything. And I can follow the breadcrumbs to this shit. A restaurant owner in Manhattan said she raised the starting wage to $25 an hour and is fully staffed. Nobody in the prices that you charge in a Manhattan restaurant, can nobody say that a Manhattan restaurant during this time that is actually open, you should be making a killing. You should have enough to pay these people if you manage your hours and you manage the amount of work properly. It all comes down to how you're managing it. People want you to work for nothing. They want you to work for as less as they possibly can because they think it increases their bottom line. But that's short term, because long term, people are going to get fed up with you, and they're going to determine that it's not enough for what the fuck you want me to do, and I'm leaving, and I get mad about this shit every time. Pay these people that's out here and coming to your fucking jobs during all sorts of conditions and all types. The US is suffering from a huge labor shortage as workers quit their jobs in search of better wages, benefits, and working conditions. The latter should be more important than the former. Companies have been boosting wages to attract new workers and keep existing ones, in many cases, raising their prices or cutting their operating hours to cover higher staff pay. It's not killing you. I'm telling you, it's not killing you. Andrea Ponte, what the hell do I know anyway? I'm the one that's on the end that's crying for more pay. So, of course, I'm going to tell you. After raising starting pay from around, she said that prior to this, she'd raised starting pay to $12 and then $13 an hour, but didn't see an impact. But $14 an hour, coupled with Florida cutting off supplemental employee benefits in June, was the sweet spot to attract workers. She said, hey, you twist the knob, you find out what works. Hunt's added that increasing prices between 5 and 10% to fund the higher wages hadn't deterred customers. Amanda Cohen, who owns Manhattan restaurant Dirt Candy, okay, used the pandemic to assess how she compensates workers. She told Insider that she raised starting wages to $25 an hour in May after realizing how badly some workers struggled financially. Since raising wages, we have not had a single problem with finding staff, Cohen said. Cohen said she increased the restaurant's prices around 30% and streamlined its menu to accommodate the new wages, but this hadn't put diners off. No, they're just happy to have people where they could come out and still get quality service. Nobody's mad. They're all getting paid. You're still getting quality food. It's probably a better menu, and you're open among other places. Yes, we put the focus on staff comes first and everything comes second, Cohen said. I can't succeed without a staff. Somebody that gets it. Next up. California school removes teacher for telling students Trump is still president. When you go to school, see, they should be telling you why I believe Trump is still president. You teach the kids how to teach the kids how did you arrive at that? Show your work. That's what teachers should be doing. Show your work. Don't just come in and be pissed off after you watch fucking CNN or whatever, or you watch some debate or some BS, and you come in and these students don't know. Show them why you believe Trump is still president. First off, give them the basics of why you arrived at that conclusion. A California middle school teacher was removed. Middle school teacher was removed from the classroom after a recording surfaced of her telling students that the government has way too much power and allegedly saying Donald Trump is still the president. People need to wake up and see the government has way too much power right now. But see, you should, instead of coming in and screaming that the government has way too much power, You should be teaching them about the system of checks and balances so they can come to their own conclusion to decide, like, and they can start doing their own research. You don't plant the flowers, you plant the seeds. Know what I mean? That's how you're supposed that's teaching. Don't plant the trees, plant the seeds. Know what I mean? The unidentified history teacher who worked for Anacapa Middle School in Ventura said on their recording, CBS LA report. parent parent Sarah Silicula said her, I think I got that right in one shot. Damn. Parent Sarah Silicula said her eighth grade son recorded the 7-minute incident on his phone on October 18th. She recounted that he got out of class with his teacher and was distraught over vaccines and asked his parents if they knew Trump was still president. She just fed the kids a bunch of bullshit and sent them home for the parents to pick up the pieces. That's fucked up. That's really fucked up. And he got in the car and was very upset. He was rocking back and forth. Trump's the president. Yeah, and he got in the car and was very upset. He announced, I'm never getting vaccinated. I'm never getting any more shots of any kind. Did you know Trump's still president? This is this guy's villain origin story. Salicula immediately alerted school authorities and an investigation was launched. The mother added that the political discussion in class left their son damaged. He's damaged. He's hurt. He's scared. He doesn't trust his parents now. He thinks we lied to him. Salicula said of her son. So what were you teaching your son at home that he's so easily manipulated by the rantings of a teacher? Yeah, a teacher's aide reportedly suggested during the incident that the teacher not discuss the 2020 election. CBS LA. This is a smart teacher's aide that said, "Well, you were in the classroom. Well, why didn't you just why didn't you say anything? Like, well, I told him, but I'm a teacher's aide. My hours get cut if teachers don't like to work with me. So I told them, but I couldn't make them. The outlet's report did not include specific quotes from the teacher claiming Trump is still president. Wow. So, in closing for this, these teachers are supposed to be planting the seeds. They're not supposed to be telling students how to think or what to think. They're supposed to just be giving them the bare bones. They're supposed to be giving these kids the basics so they can come to their own conclusion. So they can draw their own opinions. They can make their own inferences and determine whether what's right and what's wrong. That's the only way we're going to move away from this. Like, everybody gets an opinion, but you can't come to school as a teacher and just be like, yeah, what the fuck? Trump's still president. What about, oh my God. Next up. It's this type of thinking that from the last article that brings me to this. Consultant hired by Loudon County says public education should not focus on learning. So if public education shouldn't be focused on learning, what is it focused on? Is it just focused on like dancing around topics? It's focused on, if you say that, then that means it's not, it's focused on what you should say and what you shouldn't say. It's all based on etiquette. The co-founding partner of the consulting firm hired by Loudon County Public Schools to incorporate equity and inclusion initiatives into school curricula admitted in a recent lecture that he believes public education should not focus primarily on learning. But was this guy a teacher? Is he or she a teacher? Has he or she ever been like on the front lines of teaching? I think the thing that public education offers, because I certainly don't think we offer learning, are relationships. What historically high schools were for was dissemination of information very quickly. Well, actually, the internet is better than the high school is. I agree. Personally, me, I agree. Truthfully, the teacher in relation to the dissemination of information is obsolete, but the teacher in relationship to relationship, what he's trying to say is that it's about learning social etiquette. It's about learning how to conduct yourself in social manners. It's not about learning anymore. It's just about more of like conducting yourself around other people, is learning how to interact with other people, because the learning part, the internet has killed schools. And I really do believe that moving forward, that because look, we got shootings in schools, we got kids, pandemics, the pandemic is in schools, all of this, that brick and mortar schools, because of these, are becoming a little bit more like ostracized. Like people are really like they're not quick to send their kids to school anymore. It's easier like back when I was a little bit younger, you better go to school. Get your ass up and go to school. Now it's like, well, this vaccine and the kids are getting shot and you got bullies and all this other stuff. And yeah, you don't know. Like, yeah, it's second, it's not first, it's not priority to go to a brick and mortar school anymore when you can learn everything and more online. Al-Manzan urged teachers and administrators to practice their diversity trainings on adults whose minds have hardened over time so that they be better prepared to convert children to their cause. Children he recognized are much more impressionable because their worldviews are still developing and evolving and therefore easier to persuade. Which going back to the other article, you just don't run out and say Trump is still president, and now the parents got to explain why that teacher is a fucking cuckoo. Next, New York woman charged with assault after she hit a train conductor in the face with a pumpkin. District attorney says, "Go Cinderella, go Cinderella." Oh, the Prince Charming that finds the glass Timberland that will fit her foot. A New York woman was charged after she allegedly hit a metro train conductor with a pumpkin and punched her in the face. There is no allegedly when you hit somebody with a pumpkin, because when you hit somebody with a grape, okay, maybe it happened, maybe it didn't, but a pumpkin is something that you can't allege. The 21-year-old woman was charged with 2 counts of assault in the second degree. Well, one for the pumpkin and one for the punch. An altercation occurred after she could not produce a ticket and was told to get off at the next stop, according to the district attorney. On October 11th, Alexis Adams allegedly hit the conductor in the face with a pumpkin and punched her several times. The conductor was sent to the hospital where she received numerous stitches, according to the Westchester County. I'm sorry, because I'm just imagining like the pumpkin can't get the pumpkin off the head. I know, I'm sorry. Violent attacks on essential workers doing their jobs will not be tolerated, Brokaw said in a statement. Metro North Railroad conductors, like all public facing employees, have a right to feel safe in their workplace. Adams, a Bronx resident, was charged with 2 counts of assault in the second degree and a felony, and a warrant was issued for her arrest. Catherine Rinaldi, the president of the MTA, revoke her Metro card. She can't ride. Ooh, that would hurt. In the Bronx, can't ride the subway no more for life. Catherine Rinaldi, the president of MTA Metro North Railroad, thanked the district attorney and the Metropolitan Transportation Authority police department. Throughout the pandemic, we have called upon our conductors to do more than ever before. They need to know that we are absolutely committed to making their work environment as safe as possible, Rinaldi said in the district attorney's statement. Fun show, fun show, fun show. That being said, I'm going to wrap this up. I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Adios.